With graphics like that, this guy must work out.
How's it going, everyone? Thought I would give you some other little helpful tips I have learned along the way. So, probably, I don't know that I have heard of any customer complaints. Well, let me rephrase this. I haven't heard of any customers complain to me about other contractors they didn't like that didn't involve some form of bad communications. So every horror story that a customer's told me from somebody else they used in the past, somewhere in the conversation, I'm going to hear they never called, they never showed up when they were supposed to, they were never there on time. I never knew when they were going to be there and when they weren't. I cannot emphasize enough how important communication is between you and your customers. You will lose a customer quick, especially if they've had problems with it in the past. It may be different if they've ever dealt with a contractor that doesn't communicate. But you have to communicate with your customers. Lining out your schedules, trying to get everything organized. You know, the more communications we have with them, the easier they're going to be to work with. Now, there's some customers that are just going to be a pain. As soon as they call, you're dreading calling them back because you know they're going to do nothing but complain about something. But those are usually 1 in 100 or so. At least over the almost 10 years that I've been doing it, there's very few of those that you just don't want to call back. You know, from a business perspective, even if you don't want to call them back, you need to call them back. Talk to them, make sure you're communicating with them. Anything changes in your schedule, you know, if you're on your way, get caught in a traffic jam, send them a text message or calling them and letting them know I'm going to be a little late. Those little things go a long way. You know, if you're just constantly showing up late, you're doing some kind of remodel or something for them, and you've got half their house tore apart, you know, especially if you're doing something that's really invasive in their home, you've got to communicate with them, because you're providing a service, yes, but at the same time, you're invading on their personal space. So you got to make sure that you communicate with them. So, you know, even the ones that are a pain, just make sure you're staying in communication with them. I know schedules constantly flip-flop. I've got to be, you know, if I've got jobs coming up, that my schedule gets bumbled around. As soon as I find out about it, I make sure I let those know that, you know, that whose jobs are going to get pushed out due to my schedule being messed up, that, you know, something has to change. So most every customer I've got or I have had throughout the years are pretty understanding as long as you stay in contact with them. So just a short segment on that.
This guy needs to be a poster child for birth control. If you like that video, hit subscribe.